We are live. Welcome back to the Hollywood Purgatory and happy Memorial Day, everyone. I got a hair here. Jeffrey Harris here, and this is the Hollywood Purgatory podcast. This is where the entertainment industry comes to get judged. I'm Jeffrey Harris of 401 Mania, and on the other end of the line, we have Jay Snook of the Good Men Project. Hi, Jay.
Hey there, what's up?
Happy Memorial Day. And first of all, I wanna wish a happy Memorial Day to our fighting men and women, and all those who have served our country proudly and who have fallen in combat. Thank you for everything that you do, and thank you for serving to protect us. So thank you. Hats off. Salute on Memorial Day. Any wishes you'd like to give out to our troops and our fighting men and women for Memorial Day, Jay?
Just really what you said. I can't really go much further than that because that was pretty good.
Okay.
Pretty bravo so far.
All right. So we are back for a special Memorial Day broadcast. We were with you on Friday to do that was mainly our double spoiler cast. So because we wanted to do a spoiler cast for both Solo and Deadpool. So today we're just gonna go more into sort of news and items of the day and stuff we missed on our last couple shows that we wanted to just talk about and go over with you today. So first line of business, Jay, is a new Star Wars movie came out last week, and
Friday, technically, but yeah.
What was that?
On Friday, technically, but yeah.
Well, technically, it came. Early screening started Thursday night. That's still last week, and it doesn't look to be going so well for Star Wars right now. Interestingly enough, are you surprised at all that, according to all box office estimates and analysis, Star Wars opened pretty soft, and some are even calling this a bomb?
Yeah, but I'm also reading here, it's saying that it's believing that it's doing a little bit better than the last spinoff, Rogue One. Not much, but a bit.
No, it's not. It's not at all.
But it debuted at 155. This debuted at 168.
No, it didn't.
Yeah, it did. Worldwide, it's made 160. Yeah. Worldwide so far, it's made box office worldwide is 168 million is what it's made so far. Worldwide, mind you.
No, Rogue One worldwide debuted at 290.
Well, it says that.
Who says that? Tell me who says that. What website are you looking at?
Let's see. Now, it does say, of course, in the same note that it needs at least 500 mil to break even, which that may not happen. Is the truth.
Tell me what website that is.
Wikipedia.
Okay, Jay, look. These are the Box Office Mojo. Rogue One debuts with the 290 million worldwide. That was its opening weekend. So let's look at the worldwide for Solo: A Star Wars Story.
Yeah, but so far it has been
nowhere close. Nowhere close. Let me just look at box office. Okay. Worldwide, it's at 168 million.
Yes, and that's what I said. It is at 168.
Okay, at this time, Rogue One was 290. So almost double.
And you did hear what I said, though. The thing that is, because the budget for this movie, I think, was bigger than Rogue One, I want to say. Am I wrong? I want to say it's a bigger budget than Rogue One.
It was a much bigger than Rogue One.
Okay, and we kind of said this on Friday. We had our doubts, and looks like they're coming to fruition. Because it is saying it needs to make at least 500 mil worldwide in order to break even, and
you can't. All right, for starters, you can't get your stats from Wikipedia. I'm getting my stats right now from Box Office Mojo and Forbes, and Deadline.
But am I wrong though? It needs to make at least 500 mil so it can break even, right? That's not wrong, right?
Possibly more, based on how because. Let's look at the facts here. Solo made it opened $84.7 million for the weekend, and then for the holiday weekend, it's looking like $103 million. Now that's not really that bad. But the problem is that Solo. Let's see. Deadline threw out a number north of 300 million, which is crazy. So when you spend $300 million, you need to make like double that amount to break even. So
I think the budget was about it was about 3, wasn't it? Yeah, the budget was. The budget was 250.
This movie had a lot of problems, Jay. Remember? I mean, we talked about it a lot on this show. So, can this honestly be called the first Star Wars movie to bomb at the box office, or is that hyperbole?
I don't know, because this is one of those movies where it isn't, as far as from what I've heard from people, and you and I seeing it. I don't. The problem with this film, in a nutshell, is when it comes to financially, yes, absolutely. But when it comes down to as far as how the movie itself was, I don't know. But
we both liked the movie.
Yes. And the funny thing is, there are people who are in the same boat. There are those who liked it. I don't think it blew them away as much as most Star Wars movies. Even Rogue One was pretty goddamn amazing. So
and it's only 70% on Rotten Tomatoes right now. That's the lowest tomato meter rating for a new Star Wars movie since they sold the company to Disney.
Yeah.
Do you think the mediocre reviews hurt the film?
It probably didn't help it. That's true. It probably didn't help it. No.
Is Lucasfilm, is the Star Wars franchise in trouble?
I'm going to say no. This is just a wake-up call for them.
What do they have to do going forward because of this?
What they need to do is tread a bit more softly with who they cast in these films. And because you said it yourself, you weren't really actually into the film until the Kessel Run. Before that, you were like, it's okay, but it didn't really blow you away, right?
Right. And
I'm sure many people felt that same way. They were
I wasn't really like, I thought Ehrenreich was okay. I thought Glover was great. Woody Harrelson.
Yeah.
Ehrenreich didn't blow me away either.
So, but that's the thing, though. Like the main guy, even though I liked him, he didn't blow people away like most of them do.
Okay.
And a lot of people were probably in the same boat you were, where it took a long time until you're like, okay, now I'm into this movie. Before that, you're like, okay, it's good what they're doing, but it's not really, blowing your mind either, right?
I mean, before Phil Lord and Chris Miller, they were the original directors on the film. Apparently, there were problems during production. They weren't getting along with Kathleen Kennedy and Lawrence Kasdan,
which probably hurt it too.
And then Ron Howard came in. Did Ron Howard really do the best job? Was he really the best choice? I'm not sure he was.
Yeah, for something like this, I don't know. But this kind of reminds me of Ant-Man. Ant-Man had a lot of problems too. And
Ant-Man turned out well. Ant-Man was a success story for Marvel, really.
But I still don't think it did as well as some of their previous films.
It did, but it did better than the first Captain America movie. Let's see, Ant-Man. Ant-Man did over 519 million worldwide.
Okay.
So it did better. Than the first Captain America and the first Thor.
Okay.
So,
but I think what happened with this movie in a nutshell is it had issues which didn't help, and maybe they rushed it toward the end, and that may have been what hurt it the most. Maybe.
Do you think, my issue was that we were getting to February, and we hadn't seen anything for the movie yet.
That's true. They didn't market it well either. That's true.
Isn't that a little unusual for a Star Wars film?
Yeah, it is. It absolutely is.
I feel like even if it's a Star Wars movie, I don't feel like you can start marketing a movie that late.
No, it's not a good idea.
Because this is a big summer movie, and even though it's Star Wars, I don't feel like they were marketing the movie hard enough. And here's the other thing. I feel like we were hearing all these problems about Ron Howard, directors Lord and Miller, and all of that, and we weren't seeing anything for months. It was radio silence, And of course, we did have Last Jedi last December, and then it wasn't until February. And February, the movie's right around the corner. I don't think that's a good way to market a major summer release.
Yeah, so they made mistakes with marketing this and with pushing it, with bringing it out. They wouldn't even actually even see a poster or anything until like January, February, or something like that.
Right. In the first trailer,
Yeah.
was February. I just think that was a mistake. Here's my other question for you.
Uh-huh.
This is the first time we had a Star Wars movie in December and then one in May. That's not even 6 months.
Yeah.
Not even 6. So less than 5 months, we get another movie. Was that a mistake to space them so close together?
I don't know if I could say that was a mistake, but I will say that just like this one, it had issues, and toward the end they just wanted to get it out, but they didn't fine tune as much as they should have. So I'll say it again. This I see as a wake up call for them. It's like, hey, when you're doing these movies from now, because you're going to keep doing them,
right?
Make sure that you don't make the same mistakes today with this. Because remember, DC didn't learn their lesson from Suicide Squad, which is why Justice League didn't do as well as they hoped it would. So this is something where Lucasfilm and Disney just look at the mistakes they made here and don't make them again. When you're going to do either if you're going to either do Obi-Wan next or Boba Fett or whatever you're going to do next, take your time, don't rush it, and fine tune this again, because they do that with their animated films still.
Should they have delayed this film, you think?
It wouldn't have been a bad idea. It probably would have worked better for them in the long run.
I've read that had they delayed it, they would have had issues because a big movie like this, they have corporate partners, they have sponsorships and deadlines, so they have to get the movie out by a certain time. But I think that's to me, that's similar to what the video game industry. They try to rush things out too. They have those problems. And then they rush, those instances where they'll rush out a broken game that's full of glitches and bugged to hell. And then it's embarrassing for the company, That's happened before. It's not quite the same, but that's what this reminds me of, because publishers are like publicly traded companies and they want to meet their stock quotas. You think I'm on point there, or do you think it's a bad analogy?
There's some stuff that parallels this and that. There is, that's for sure.
Should Kathleen Kennedy be worried about her job when she goes back to work tomorrow?
No, I wouldn't say it's going to go that far, because again, this is only their first mistake, and it sounds like, at least with some of their other Star Wars properties, they are taking their time. So I don't think she's in danger of losing her job. It just needs to be a wake-up call for her too, of, hey, if the movie's having problems, maybe you do need to push it back for the greater good in the long run.
I think that's a good point. I think they should have at least pushed the movie back to December.
Yeah.
We're not going to be seeing another Star Wars movie until Episode 9.
Yeah.
And that's coming at let's see when Episode 9 comes out. I believe December of next year.
Yeah.
December 20th. So a year and a half. So we're basically going to get a year and a half break for the movies. They're still going to have like TV and other stuff. Do you think maybe a year and a half break will help the franchise, and maybe people will be more excited to wait a little longer for a new movie?
I think so, because we do know that they've got they have at least a live action show and Resistance now in the fall, and I want to say they're working on other stuff. Yeah, so it'll be good for them, because Episode 9 kind of got backed into a corner how 8 ended anyway. So J.J. Abrams has his work cut out for him, so he needs to definitely take his time and do his best he can with that.
Here's my other talking point.
Okay.
The other point of discussion here: did the backlash for Episode 8 hurt this movie? Because there was, whether it's a minority or not, there was a vocal backlash for Episode 8, which did not do as well as Episode 7.
Mm-hmm. That's true.
Now, just to kind of share some numbers. Both those movies came out the same time of year. So when The Force Awakens in its second weekend, it only dropped 39% at the box office in its second weekend. So 2 years later, The Last Jedi in its second weekend dropped 67%. So, and considering the lukewarm opening for Solo, it's a high possibility that Solo follows suit next weekend.
I think the movie that's going to do well next weekend is going to be Deadpool 2, because that's getting better buzz anyway.
Yeah, but do you think the negative backlash and the negativity that's been spreading online and the hatred online for Episode 8, did that hurt this film on any level?
I don't know. I think what hurt the film was people didn't like the casting for Solo, and some may not see it just because they don't like the casting. So I don't know if 8 necessarily hurt it, but the casting of...
Is your answer no, or I don't know?
I'm going to go with no. I don't think that Episode 8 hurt it much.
Okay, but you're aware that, there is sort of like a vehement...
Yeah.
Like fan community revolt over Episode 8, right?
Yeah, I remember that because I was part of that, but I remember that.
You were part of it.
Well, wow. I wasn't a big fan of that movie, is what I mean. I had issues with it. I didn't hate it.
Okay, for sure. Okay. Fair enough. Fair enough. The other point of discussion, the other argument that's going around is no one asked for a Solo movie. No one wanted to see a young Han Solo movie. Was this just a bad idea for a new Star Wars movie, Jay? A young Han Solo story?
I don't think so. I was for it when I heard they're going to do it. Like, hey, that's a good idea. I'm for it. So I don't think so. No, I don't think it was a bad idea. No.
Okay, now these aren't official, but we've mentioned beforehand that the two movies getting tossed around right now are Obi-Wan Kenobi and Boba Fett. Does the poor performance of Solo, does that alter the course here for Lucasfilm? Are they going to put those films on the back burner? Are they going to go into crisis mode? We were talking about those movies. Let's put those aside and let's think of some other ideas.
I would think the best thing for them to do is kind of like what I said on Friday is, push Obi-Wan and put Boba Fett on the back burner, because Obi-Wan, there's not only much more to tell there, but they already have the guy who wants to do it, and he's done the character fine.
McGregor.
Yeah, and I think it'd be an easier story to tell, where Boba Fett is not so simple.
Why do you think Obi-Wan is the easier story to tell?
Because really, we've had in some of the cartoons, you see some Obi-Wan here and there, but an Obi-Wan focused film would be a really good film depending on what timeline they choose, right? And there's so much that
they would have to choose the time after Revenge of the Sith, so it would probably be set a similar time as the Han Solo films, or maybe even Rogue One.
Maybe. So. But I would like to see that, and I think that'd be just a safer choice rather than doing Boba Fett. Because Boba Fett, if they don't do Boba Fett...
Boba Fett's a fan favorite character. Obviously, that could be a safer choice.
Well, I'm not saying Boba Fett isn't, but Boba Fett, if they don't do it right, could end up just like this movie in a heartbeat, right?
Can't you say the same about Obi-Wan Kenobi?
No, not as easily, no. I think Obi-Wan, there's less likelihood they could screw that up.
I got to be honest, Jay. The idea of the director of Logan doing a Boba Fett movie, I want to see that way more than a Kenobi film. Put a gun to the head. So, isn't Logan a great film?
Yeah, I agree.
Don't you like Logan?
I do, yes.
Don't you want the director of that movie to do a Star Wars film?
I don't know. It's just, I think it's a riskier film to do.
Risky, maybe. Yeah. Arguably any film is a risk. Because look, now we're in a situation here where arguably the least risky franchise you could ever have in your pocket, Star Wars, is not performing as Disney wanted. Disney wanted $150 million for this opening. They didn't come close to that. So
States, no.
It's alarming because it's weird because 10 years ago, this would be a fantastic opening, but just the way things are now, even this is an underwhelming opening for a major film release, because these major releases, they just cost so much. They cost double, triple what blockbusters even used to.
I said my advice to Disney from now on is just like take the lessons from this and don't repeat the mistakes. That's all I can really say about it.
Do you think if Disney or Lucasfilm makes another mistake like this, could that hurt Kathleen Kennedy as president of Lucasfilm?
Yes, it could.
Here's my other question. Should they dump Obi-Wan Kenobi and just focus on other stories and just totally move away from original trilogy, prequel trilogy era?
I don't know if they should do something that drastic yet.
Maybe go either thousands of years in the past or even hundreds of years in the future. What would you say to either of those ideas?
They could do that, but right now, as far as new stuff, I'm excited to see the live action Favreau show and Resistance, because they're going to take place between.
Right.
Yes, I'm more excited to see those. So
but those are TV shows.
True.
So, and look, we've had Clone Wars, we've had Rebels. Both those were consistently of a good quality. I think you would agree, right?
Yes. Now, was it Knights of the Old Republic that was the thousands of years in the past, or which one was
that? but technically that's Star Wars Legends now. So yeah. The Old Republic and Knights of the Old Republic.
Yeah, I don't know because the problem with going either that far in the past or that far in the future was it could be a success or it could blow up in their face horribly.
Well, I mean that's where we are right now with Star Wars.
Yeah.
So why not? Because they did it. Look, they did a prequel film here, Jay, with the classic characters. You had Han, Chewie, and Lando. We're all in this film, right? And it's not setting the world on fire. So does this franchise just need fresher takes, fresher cuts, fresher characters, completely unhampered and unrelated to this trilogy, to the original trilogy, or even the prequels?
Well, now here's the question, though.
Okay.
If they did, let's say, 200 years in the future.
Okay. Yeah.
They could have some connection, and it may not even be the main characters, but still have some kind of connection to the stories we've already seen, right?
Like they're raised descendants.
Yeah, and if they went,
I'm not saying that's what they would do. That's just like spitball, hypothetical.
If they went in the past, it could go in a similar fashion, where like maybe how because I think one of the games talked about how the war with the Sith and the Jedi first began, right?
Yeah, but now that would be totally different. So they could tell their own story about that right now.
I would think if they were going to go in either of those directions, it might be safer with a trilogy just because there's so much to tell there, right?
Yeah.
And in one movie, that'd be kind of hard to cram it all together without it seeming too condensed, right?
You could do you could do any number of things, but my suggestion, or not even really suggestion, my idea that I'm asking is, should they move away from the Skywalkers, Rey, Finn, and Han Solo, all those characters from the prequels and the original trilogy?
I would say no.
And a new set of characters.
I would say no, not yet.
But they did a new movie, and it's not with three of the most important iconic characters, and it didn't do well. So maybe you're saying audiences don't want new characters, is what you're saying?
What I'm saying is, yeah, I am technically saying that because they're still fan favorite characters. A lot of people will still go see this movie because of Lando and Chewie and all that, right? So
yeah, but not enough. But it's not enough. It's not enough anymore.
Yeah. Maybe.
I mean, the way I see it, you're gonna run out. Look, if you keep doing Obi-Wan Kenobi, whatever, you're gonna run out of characters at some of characters you can tell stories about at some point. Do you really want to see Yoda the movie, the Yoda story?
That one I wouldn't want to see. No,
You want to see the Jabba the Hutt story?
absolutely not. No.
So I mean, that's what I'm getting at here. There are only so many like of the classic characters you could tell their own theatrical story about. So I'm just kind of wondering.
What I would suggest they do,
Yeah.
is try maybe one more origin, either Boba Fett or Obi-Wan. If it doesn't work out, stop the origin.
Okay.
Stop them.
Okay. Is there anything else you think they should try besides Obi-Wan Kenobi? If you were making the decision.
I don't think so at this point.
Is there a story out of these characters that you want?
Like I
said, really want to know.
Obi-Wan, I really do want to know. I really want to know more about that. I'd love to see that, and I think
okay.
And I think if they fine-tune that one and actually spend more time with that one than this one, it could be a great film. And
there isn't a premise or set of characters or something from the saga you really want to know that hasn't been told on screen yet.
Well, what's so difficult about asking a question like that is there's at least like 3-4 projects coming out that we know nothing about that could cover those things, right?
Right.
That's what's really tough about it.
I would want to know about like the Sith Jedi War or like the Jedi Mandalorian Wars. That's what I would want to
know. Either the writers of Game of Thrones may be doing that, or even Ryan Johnson might be doing that. For all we know, we don't know. True,
but I think, just to speculate, to playfully speculate, that those are the kind of the stories I want to see. Even if the Game of Thrones creators or Ryan Johnson are planning those type of stories for their upcoming films. And here's the other thing we have to consider. Those movies are still far away from production, Jay. Could something happen to prevent those films from unfolding in their current shape, Because Colin Trevorrow got fired from episode 9.
True.
And then Phil Lord and Chris Miller got fired from Solo. So I mean, we know Lucasfilm will drastically change course.
I think what's going to happen is if somehow Episode 9 doesn't do as well as I hope, then those trilogies will probably die. That's probably what will happen.
Okay. Is there any chance that because of Solo, that Star Wars Episode 9 does disappointing business? Solo and Episode 8. Is there any chance of that?
I don't think. I think Episode 9, because I really like what J.J. Abrams did with 7.
Okay.
So I think it was actually good. I still think it was a good choice putting him in 9, because he may be the guy who can fine-tune that well enough. Because like I said, 8 kind of backed him into a corner, but I think he's going to try to do his best to get out of that corner that he can.
Okay, then.
Yeah, so I still have high hopes for 9.
All right. Well, I do think Abrams did a good job with The Force Awakens, and hopefully he does a decent job with Episode 8, whatever it is going to be called. So I think from there we can move on from Solo, and we'll see how it does.
We'll just keep an eye on it and just continue reporting about it on here.
Yeah, I think we'll keep an eye on it, and let's see. Maybe it could have a miraculous save. For all we know, it could have a miraculous save next weekend. Yeah, I'm not saying that's what's going to happen, but I mean, look at the P.T. Barnum movie. Look at The Greatest Showman. You like that film, right?
I didn't see it, actually, to be honest.
That film opened very poorly. Yeah. But it had some of the best box office staying power of anything in recent memory, and it ended up becoming a huge hit.
True. I think the only competition this film until Incredibles 2 is going to be Deadpool 2, and I think Deadpool 2 is going to give it a run for its money, I think.
Deadpool 2...
Because that one's doing pretty well, right?
It's not doing as well as the original, but it's doing okay.
Yeah.
It's at about 220 million. Okay. Almost 5. It's not going to do as well as the original, but it's doing, considering it's an R-rated superhero movie or an R-rated comic book movie about an anti-hero, it's doing fairly It's doing fairly well. It's
Yeah,
not.
I think that one's going to be the one that's going to be the competition for Solo until Incredibles 2.
Well, it's not. It's probably not going to end up doing as well as the first Deadpool, but like it's doing well enough where it's a success, I would say.
Yeah, because either films don't really have any competition until because Ocean's 8. I don't know if Ocean's 8 is given much competition. I don't.
Hopefully, and I have high hopes for Incredibles 2, and I hope that one does well.
Yeah, I think it will, but that's not until what, the 12th, the 16th, something like that.
Incredibles 2.
The 16th, right?
You're right.
So that's a few weeks from now. So they have at least 2 weeks and no competition.
June 15th.
Yeah, so they have 2 weeks and no competition.
All right. So moving on from that, we finally got. Remember how a couple years ago we got the Jon Favreau Jungle Book movie from Disney? Warner Brothers is doing their own version of Rudyard Kipling's The Jungle Book, but this one is being called Mowgli now, and it's
this actually got announced around the time the movie came out. Because what happened around that time was the movie did very well. Favreau announced a sequel, and then they announced, "Oh yeah, we're going to do a movie too," a year before a sequel comes out.
I think both these movies got announced around the same time, as I recall.
Yeah, and I remember when I heard about this film, I was like, "But we just got a Jungle Book film, and now they're doing another one, and it's got a definitely much more peculiar cast than the last one. That's for sure."
Well, we got our first trailer. You know who directed this movie?
Off the top of my head, I don't remember.
It's Andy Serkis.
Oh yeah, that's right. Yeah, he is.
I guess I want to say this is his directorial debut.
Might be right.
And it's a movie about Mowgli. It's got all the familiar characters: Bagheera, Kaa, Shere Khan.
It's got Christian Bale in it, Benedict Cumberbatch, Kate Blanchett, Andy Serkis as being Baloo. Yeah, it's kind of an interesting cast of people. Tom Hollander. I'm not even sure.
It looks so. We saw the first trailer. It looks a lot darker and more serious than the Disney version.
Yeah, which I guess it does. Which it was kind of pushed as when it said it was going to come out.
I think this one got delayed. I think it was delayed too.
Yeah, they didn't want to compete with that movie, I think is why.
This started filming in March 2015.
Yeah. I think they pushed this back a year because they didn't want to compete with the Disney one.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, no. It was supposed to come out in 2016.
Yeah.
In October.
Yeah.
The Disney one came out early 2016. So
yeah.
I think they wanted. I do think they wanted some distance. See. The reason given more time for further work on the visual effects. They moved the release date 2 years.
Yeah.
So the film is called Mowgli. Do you think this could be better than Disney's version?
No, I really.
Why?
My problem with this movie is, first of all, they made some weird casting choices for some characters. I mean,
yeah.
Benedict Cumberbatch as Shere Khan. I don't.
What's wrong with that
casting choice? I mean, he's a good actor.
What's wrong with that?
See him as Shere Khan, like who they had in the Disney one as Shere Khan. That was a perfect
Idris Elba.
Idris Elba. That was a perfect casting choice.
Okay.
Benedict Cumberbatch did a good job as the dragon in
Smaug.
He did good as that, but
so he can play an evil dragon, but he can't play an evil tiger.
I just don't think, and there's other casting choices here that I'm in the same boat. Like,
but tell me, all right, well, explain to me why Cumberbatch's Shere Khan does not work.
I just don't see it. I don't see him being like like the Shere, and it's going to be tough because we already got such a good Shere Khan in that other movie that it's going to be hard to top that in this movie. So this movie have that problem on its own, in my opinion. It's going to have like we got such a good movie before that did so well before. I think they're going to try to do something.
Here's my feeling though. I think that Disney Jungle Book movie is way overrated. I think there's room for improvement. And I'll tell you this. I saw the trailer. The trailer didn't blow me away, but I'm like, I might see this, see how it is.
I wouldn't mind seeing it. I don't know. So,
do you think Andy Serkis?
And I guess it's had a few different titles to it. Originally, it was Jungle Book Origins. Then it was Mowgli: Tales from the Jungle Book, and now it's just Mowgli. So it's been its title's been changed like 3-4 times.
Well, I mean, people know who Mowgli is.
Yeah.
Now, is Andy Serkis in over his head here?
I think what one way in one way, yes, because he's going to be below a main character and he's directing. So yeah,
It's not that. It's not. I mean,
it's
it's
not
not.
unheard of, but it's something that is going to be tough. I've seen people do it before, more skilled at it than him, and they've had tough times too. Like Mel Brooks has made it a science now, but he's done it a lot too. And Woody Allen actually doesn't do it as much anymore. He'll direct, but he won't really be in. And in the last few films he's done, he hasn't been in.
Yeah, but Andy Serkis is a very. I would say he's a very skilled performer.
I'm not saying he's not, but just like it's his.
I mean, look at his work as Caesar in the Planet of the Apes films.
True.
Those are acclaimed films.
But being directing and being a main character, I think it's going to be too much for him.
Why do you think it's going to be too much for Andy Serkis though? Why Andy Serkis?
Not just Andy Serkis, just in general.
I don't know about that because there are a lot of not a lot, but there are I think a good amount of actors directors who can do both. What about Ben Stiller? Tropic Thunder.
He was good in that, but then there was Zoolander 2 that was an atrocious nightmare.
What about the first Zoolander?
That was good, but the sequel was an atrocious nightmare.
Okay, I agree with you there. But Tropic Thunder, I think, is his best film.
Yeah, it was a good film. I'll give
Kevin Smith.
Yeah, but Kevin Smith has kind of lately gone back to where he'll direct, but he doesn't necessarily even star.
Not lately, but I mean, you mentioned Mel Brooks. Mel Brooks is practically semi-retired at this point. I mean, he's like 90. He's like 91 years old. He just
does Broadway now. Is what he does. He's done a few.
He's also doing the Hotel Transylvania 3. So
he's in that. Yeah.
Yeah, he voices. Yeah.
Yeah.
Not directing. I mean, he's voicing. He's performing.
I don't know, and it's just to me because this is weird too because I know some of the names in this movie, but there are a lot of the names in here I don't know. Like I'm actually not sure who Matt Rice is, Frida Pinto, or even Masua. I don't even know what.
Frida Pinto has been around for a while.
So there was more noticeable names.
That's not to me. Version. That's not. I mean, but okay. But Benedict Cumberbatch. I mean, Christian Bale's an Academy Award winner. Kate Blanchett is Ka, the snake. So there you go.
Okay.
Naomi Harris. I know Naomi Harris. Tom Hollander.
I know some of these names. I don't. And you know what? I just think what's going to happen.
I think you're being prejudiced against this film, Jay.
I just think that doing this movie.
Okay.
I don't know. I think it's going to be a big risk, and I think it's not going to do as well as they want.
All right.
What's going to happen? And really, personally, I think doing another movie after not only did Disney do one, but they're doing a sequel now. Yeah. I don't know if that's a good idea.
All right, then.
And I'm just not excited for this movie because, like I said, the first trailer, we finally got it. I'm like, eh. And again, this movie comes out in October. So it's going to be here in maybe 4 or 5 months. So we either need to get better.
5 months.
I'll admit one thing Disney did that wasn't smart was they waited until the third or fourth trailer where you actually heard more of the animals talk. Before that, you just saw them and they looked really cool and the environment, but you didn't hear much about.
You know what I say, Jay? The best Jungle Book is still the Disney animated version. That's still my favorite.
I like that one, but I actually have to say I really, really liked the live action one. I liked it a lot.
The animated is better than the live action. Sorry, Jon Favreau. All right, moving on from that. So, the Bohemian Rhapsody.
Yeah,
your thoughts?
This movie is. I'm kind of glad it's finally getting made. And I actually have to say I kind of liked this trailer. It's an interesting choice they made because originally I think they actually were supposed to have Sacha Baron Cohen do it, and I think
thank God it's not him.
I think what stopped that was one of the band members said, yeah, he's not doing that. But I would have been excited to see him do that because he looks like the character a lot. He does. Sacha Baron Cohen.
You think he looks like Freddie Mercury?
Yes, that's what I mean. Now,
I think Rami Malek looks a lot like Freddie Mercury the way they have him in there.
I have to say, I'll say this. When I first heard that, I thought it was kind of an odd choice. I still think it's a little bit of an odd choice, but seeing the trailer, I'm like, but you know what? it might work. It's a bit of a, I wouldn't necessarily made that choice up top of my head, but it actually might work. And this is a story that, they've been working on this for, I think, a while. This is something they've wanted to do for like a movie for a while. And
I mean, Freddie Mercury and Queen are they're a legendary rock band.
yeah.
People have wanted to tell this story for a long time.
Yeah, Tom Hollander and Mike Myers is in this.
There have been a lot of roadblocks. Yeah. Who is he?
Yeah, so Tom Hollander is in this too. Nice.
I don't. It doesn't say who Mike Myers is playing though.
It doesn't. It just says Mike Myers. He could be himself for all we know. Who knows? Probably not though.
I don't know why he would be playing himself. I mean, I don't know how you'd have Mike Myers in his 50s now playing himself. That seems a bit weird.
Yeah.
So, are you a big fan? Are you a big fan of Queen and their music, or what?
Yeah, I really am. I think they are a timeless band. They're a band that has literally, gone generations later. People still love their music. You still hear it everywhere. I mean, there's a lot of movies, that you've heard it in over the years. Knight's Tale, the Mighty Duck movies. There's a lot of their music is still relevant today. There's still a lot of it that.
Don't forget Flash Gordon.
Well, not just that. In Happy Feet, there was a number of Queen songs in there that really, made the movie something a bit more special, and I think helped it do better than it would have normally. So,
are you saying? So you wanted Sacha Baron Cohen? Are you saying Rami Malek of what's his TV show? Mr. Robot.
Mr. Robot, right?
Mr. Robot. Are you saying he's miscast?
No. What I'm saying is I wouldn't necessarily cast him at first, but I think after watching the trailer, he actually, is a surprise choice to me, but I think he's one that actually might work for the role, is what I'm saying. I still would have liked to have seen Sacha Baron Cohen, but Rami Malek, I think, it might be a good choice.
I'm glad I would not have wanted to see Sacha Baron Cohen play Freddie Mercury. I think Rami Malek is a talented actor, and Freddie Mercury is not even his real name, Jay. Do you even know that? His real name is Farouk Bulsara.
Okay.
So he's not even. Let's see. Like, his parents were Indian. Did you even know that?
I didn't know that, but that makes sense with the casting now.
Makes
more sense with the casting now.
So I think this is a lot more. I think Malik's casting is a lot more. It makes a lot more. Not only does it make more sense, I think it's a little more ethnically sensitive. Don't you think?
Yeah, and I think knowing that info, it makes more sense. And I think in the end, it probably will make for a better film. And it really just they just ended filming on this in January. So
this movie also had production problems, though.
It has along the way, yes.
With Bryan Singer was like kicked off the production when there were allegations coming out around him.
Yeah.
He apparently had a blow up with I want to say apparently he had a blow up on set with Malik. I don't know the whole story there. Let's see. Yeah. Okay. Dexter Fletcher became the replacement like midway through production. So not quite the same as what happened with Solo, but they had a situation where the director was fired during production and they replaced him. So do you think that's going to harm the film?
I think this is a film that, man, I don't know if it's going to harm it. I don't think so, because this is, I'm just watching the trailer. This film got me pumped. I'm excited to see this film. So I think, because most of the time lately, not all of them, most of the time lately, when Hollywood does a biopic or like a movie like this, they know what they're doing and they don't rush it. And I think this is one of those films, I think. Hopefully.
This one's coming out on November 2nd. So that's, I think maybe they're...
King gets it first, then we get it.
That's award season, though, so I don't know if they're hopeful for awards talk for Rami Malek or not, but...
There probably would be for some performances, I would think.
I'll tell you, do you want to know what film has my favorite Queen soundtrack?
Which one is that?
Guess which film?
Happy Feet?
No, the original Highlander.
Ah, nice. I've seen that, but it's been a while since I've seen it.
That has a
How many Queen songs
Queen.
were in it?
There are I mean, I think Queen did like all the music for the film,
Hmm,
basically,
could be.
or most of it. Like they did multiple songs.
Hmm.
See.
Yeah, you're probably right.
Several songs. There are several songs. A Kind of Magic, Princes of the Universe,
Hmm.
Who Wants to Live Forever. So there are like 3 or 4 songs in that film by Queen,
Yeah.
basically, and they're all badass.
Hmm. Hmm. Hmm.
Um, Once we get off, I want you to go to YouTube and search for Princes of the Universe,
Okay.
and you'll see. And the unfortunate thing here is they didn't ever get to go on tour again, because that's when Malik started ailing. And his health started failing, so they
Hmm.
never got to take any of those songs on tour. But the music video for Princes of the Universe is epic.
Okay.
So, yeah. But one thing that's well known about Freddie Mercury is his live performance. Is he was renowned as one of the best like live singers
Hmm. Hmm.
in rock and roll.
Yeah, I've watched some
For
of
his
this
concert.
stuff. I actually watched on YouTube once. He did a live performance of "Find Me Somebody to Love," and yeah, he blew it out of the water. He's playing the grand piano. He's got a little bit of wine on the
Yep.
top. Yeah, he blew it out of the water. It was unbelievable.
Yeah. So if you enjoy that, you should watch the music video for Princes of the Universe because he's performing during that, and he's acting against Christopher Lambert, and it's very entertaining. All right, so moving on from that, so since we didn't get to really talk about it last show, we've been getting a lot of buzz for the upcoming Netflix animated series. It's called Disenchantment.
Hmm.
So this is a new Mac Groening series,
Hmm.
creator of Simpsons and Family Guy. So
No, no, no. Futurama.
oh yeah. Well, I'm sorry there.
Yeah.
Futurama, Futurama, and The Simpsons. Family Guy, Seth MacFarlane. I am
Yeah.
sorry.
Yeah. Jim.
Okay, so Disenchantment. This one's going to be made for Netflix. So I guess kind of like Futurama is science fiction. This
Hmm.
one is like medieval fantasy. So we got our first look and launch date
Yeah.
last week. So let's see. The
Yeah.
show debuts in
It's gonna.
August.
Yeah, it's gonna follow the story of Bean, an alcoholic princess, her elf companion Elfo, and her personal demon Lucy, who live in a medieval kingdom known as Beanlandia.
Okay.
Which
And
sounds,
we're going to get 10 episodes. I think that's a good amount for a first season.
yeah, a good start.
10
Absolutely.
episodes, August 17th. So we got some artwork. Did we get a trailer yet?
No, we've
No
just gotten
trailer
some
yet.
images so far on Reddit
The
and
images
like
look
that.
the images look beautiful. I'm very excited
So,
about this show, Jay.
and
How
I'm
about you?
excited too because they're going to have like John DiMaggio, Billy West, Maurice LaMarche, Tress McNeely. They're
So
all coming back.
all of the alums of Simpsons and
Yeah.
Futurama are going to be on here.
Now, it sounds like what's going to happen is they're going to do the same thing they've done with most of these shows, where it's gotten a total of 20 ordered so far. So there's going to be 10 now, and then probably 10 sometime next year, whenever that'll be.
Okay, so the princess is played by Abby Jacobson.
Uh huh.
Nat Jackson plays her friend Elfo.
Yeah, Nat Faxon, I think.
Eric Andre, I guess from the Eric Andre show, plays Lucy.
Uh huh.
Lucy is her personal demon.
Uh huh.
It doesn't say who DiMaggio, West, and Maurice. Well, I mean, they're all fantastic. Trez McNeil.
Yeah, they're
Uh,
amazing voice actors.
yeah. I mean, we know DiMaggio and West. They're Bender and Fry from Futurama.
Yeah.
It's done by the same animation studio as Future. I mean, Futurama is over, so I think it's about time they made a new series. You know,
And I
that
think
crew.
it's nice for them to finally make the jump to Netflix. As we've seen, Netflix not only does pretty well with most of what they do, but most of the stuff they do easily gets at least one more season. I mean, most of the time, it's rare.
Yeah.
Of most of the Netflix stuff I've watched, it's rare we don't get a second season.
I
It's
mean,
kind of bad. Like Iron Fist got a second season, which I didn't see coming. Lost in Space got a second season, which was kind of surprising. But most of these shows at least get a second season, at least. Some get more than that, depending on how popular they
I
are.
mean, Sense8 was one of the few shows they canceled, and even Sense8 got a second season, and they got a movie.
Yeah, so most of the time with these shows, like, it's just where to go now with this stuff, because a lot of people are watching them. They're doing really well. They're really successful. Like, and it's just so it's kind of like, it's nice for them to make the jump to that funny, and I think it makes the most sense because eventually, even though it doesn't seem likely in the near future, eventually Simpsons is going to go away. I don't know when.
Okay, so here's,
or maybe it'll make the net jump to Netflix.
Thing is,
too. Who knows?
do you remember when Futurama was originally on? Fox didn't do a good job with it.
No, they didn't.
It wasn't really until much later that Futurama really found its. I think it was really Adult Swim, and then I guess where was it on after Adult Swim? Comedy Central.
Well, what happened with Adult Swim was people and I want to say even Netflix might have helped too, because Futurama might have been on Netflix at that time.
I don't think it was. No,
it was on something. Maybe it was Hulu or something. But
it was on cable before, like.
But anyways, so what happens
Fox produced like 70 episodes and would like never show them.
Yeah, and so what happened was they did the 4 seasons. It got canceled. Then it was either Netflix or reruns or something where people started watching a lot again. And so they did the 4 direct-to-video movies. They did all 4 of those. And those 4 helped them get picked up by Comedy Central. They did 4 more seasons.
Right. All right. So it was Comedy Central where they got the newer. Okay. So here I found some shows that only got 1 season on Netflix. The Characters, a show called The Characters, a show called Habana. That's a foreign language show. The Get Down, Girl Boss. Okay. Even Turbo. So a lot of stuff will get more than 1 season on Netflix.
Yeah, even Big Mouth, which was kind of an odd animated show, is getting a 2nd season.
Turbo Fast. Remember that awful movie Turbo about the snails?
No. Oh, yes.
With Ryan Reynolds. That got an animated series on Netflix, and that got 3 seasons.
Dang. That's amazing.
Just in Time Go. That only got 1 season.
But even I think like Puss in Boots is on its like 6th season.
Yeah. So your point is correct. If you're on Netflix, there's a pretty good chance like you're gonna have the show will have like a decent shelf life. Yeah,
I heard, and it's only no, I think I did hear a little release anyway where even though Troll Hunters is done, they're not done with that universe per se. I saw a release I got.
They can make spin-offs, right?
Well, what I heard and this is a release I got from Netflix, is they want to do like a show focusing on 2 of the characters from season 3 and all that. So that's going to happen. So even if like a show ends, it doesn't mean the universe they're done with. You know what I mean?
So they basically they can make spin-offs for Troll Hunters.
Yeah, which I think that they're at least already doing at least 1.
All right, but they gave Troll Hunters like 3 seasons, didn't they? Or
more? The only reason it ended was because of the Anton Yelchin thing.
Right.
It was dedicated to him too, which was really nice.
That was so tragic, man.
Actually, you know what? Can we talk about that? Because I did watch season 3 last week.
Troll Hunters, go ahead. I haven't watched it yet.
Okay, so I guess we're done with Disenchanted. Besides the fact that I'm really excited to see it, I want to watch screeners of it really badly because I'm a huge Groening fan. So, but with Troll Hunters, what basically happens is at the end of last season we had Clancy Brown, I believe it is, come back as the main bad guy, and he's getting stronger and more powerful. And the Troll Hunters have to find a way to stop him from. He wants to do something now called the Eternal Night. Because in a nutshell, what happens with the trolls on this show, if they go into the sun, they burn or eventually turn to stone, right? Because they can't survive in the sun. It's not what they can do, right? And so this character wants to. And let me look what his name is. God dang it, I can't remember his name off the top of my head. Yeah, because. I love Clancy Brown. He's an amazing actor. He's got an amazing voice. He does amazing voice work. Let's see what his name is.
He's in tons of stuff.
Yeah, let me see here. Oh yeah, Fred Tatasciore is on here, which is really cool. I forgot that.
Tatasciore.
I keep saying that wrong. Forgive me. Kelsey Grammer.
Oh, we met Fred at
Yeah, we did.
At WonderCon when we were out.
Lloyd is in this, which I forgot, which is really cool. Yeah, there's an amazing cast in here. Yeah, Gunmar. Okay, so Gunmar. So Gunmar wants to bring the Eternal Night. And what happens is the troll hunters, Jim and his friends need to find a way to stop that. Where eventually, and this isn't a spoiler because it's out now, they do find Merlin, who's the man who originally invented the amulet that Jim has that makes him a troll hunter, that picked him to be a troll hunter. And it's big on this show because he's the first human to be a troll hunter. Usually it's always a troll who's a troll hunter. So in the season, in a nutshell, without giving anything away, Gunmar is trying to find, I believe it's Morgana, who can help him bring the Eternal Night, so trolls can go up to the surface and bring chaos to the world above, pretty much, right? And we have Mark Hamill back as Blinky's brother, which is really cool. Like I said, Kelsey Grammer's in here. It's just got an amazing cast list and a lot of really cool surprises. A lot of cool surprises happened this season. It was another 13-episode season, like the last one. The first was only 26-episode one, which I still need to watch season one. But
Guillermo del Toro has done a pretty good job of getting some A-list talent on this.
Yeah, and I really like this show. This show's just amazing. It's got amazing characters, and they're never one-dimensional. They have plenty of different dimensions and reasons and the ways they are and the ways they grow and evolve over time. And Merlin was an amazing touch to this series. It was a different Merlin. It wasn't the Merlin we saw in Sword in the Stone. It was totally different. And it was a really cool season. It took a lot of really interesting twists and turns toward the end. And they actually did a good, because I think Anton Yelchin, they said, had finished some of his voice work for this season. But as the season went along, his voice did change. They kind of did a transition with Jim.
So who's the new voice then?
The new voice was, I think it was Emily Hirsch. Yeah, he's the one.
Emil Hirsch.
Yeah.
Oh, wow, that's a blast from the past.
Yeah, so he's the one that took over, and they did a good job, where the character was doing something where his voice changed a bit anyway, so it was a good leap from Anton Yelchin to Emil Hirsch, so that was really cool. I really like that. And this is, I think, a good final season and a good closing season, and it really, brought all the troll hunters.
My favorite character is Bular.
Who is Bular? I'm trying to look here.
The son of Gunmar.
Oh yeah, I haven't watched that first season yet. He was big on the first season.
So Ron Perlman voices that character.
Yeah, what happened in the second season was Clancy Brown Gunmar came back, and then in the third season he's stronger than he was in the second. But yeah, it's got an amazing cast of people. Tom Hiddleston was on this. Wow. Yeah, just an amazing cast of people, and really, without really giving anything away, I could see, this universe continuing on. I mean, like I said, I saw a little bit where it may already be doing that, but yeah, it ended really, really wonderfully, but I don't think they're done with this universe. I think there's more they could tell, and I'm hoping they tell more.
Moving on from that,
yeah.
Besides Incredibles 2, you know what movie I'm really excited about for this summer?
No.
The Meg. The giant shark movie. I cannot wait to see this movie.
I'm not in the same boat. I'm on the exact opposite of the coin.
I want to see a giant shark just eating people in the ocean.
If they do a better trailer, make it more excited, but almost like that first trailer didn't take the movie seriously, where it's supposed to be like this serious action drama, and they're treating it like a comedy. I'm like, it's not a comedy. Clearly not. It's a giant freaking shark from, the prehistoric, who's big enough to, eat lots and lots of stuff.
Right. What's wrong with that?
I just mean, like I said, the first trailer didn't take it seriously, and it's a serious movie. So I think that's what turned me off to it. If I see a better trailer, I might be more excited for it. But right now, I don't think
it needs to be ultra serious. But I just want as long as the shark looks convincing to me and the shark looks cool, I think I will enjoy it. Mm-hmm. That's my main thing.
I don't think I will, but we'll see.
I think you need to be a little more open-minded.
It's a movie that could surprise me. Who knows? I mean,
why don't you want to see Jason Statham punch a shark?
Because I've seen some bad Jason Statham movies. Lately, like Mechanic Resurrection was terrible. It was an
okay. What other films are you looking forward to this summer, other than Incredibles 2?
Oh. Let me see what else is coming out this summer, because I can't remember off the top of my gosh dang head. But
there's Ant-Man and the Wasp.
That might be good. That might have potential. I mean, we'll see. I mean, I don't know. I mean, we'll have to see. But I don't know.
Marvel, don't you want to see the first Marvel movie after Infinity War?
Yeah, Marvel, Captain Marvel. I think that'll be good. Yeah.
Jurassic World.
That one
Fallen
I
Kingdom.
don't know about. I mean, just because they're doing the same mistake they did in the last one, so we'll see.
Sicario 2.
Ugh, I don't care.
The Hustle. The First Purge, so a Purge prequel.
The first Purge I'm excited for because I like the last ones. I think I'm actually excited for that one.
Hotel Transylvania 3.
No.
Skyscraper with The Rock.
Ugh.
The Equalizer 2.
Ugh.
With Denzel Washington. Mamma Mia, Here We Go Again.
Ugh.
You don't want a Mamma Mia sequel?
It looks terrible.
Unfriended. The sequel we've all been waiting for, Unfriended.
What's that even a sequel to?
Unfriended. Unfriended. This is Unfriended Dark Web.
Yeah, I think Ant-Man and the Wasp has potential.
Mission Impossible Fallout. There we go.
That I think will be good. That I wouldn't mind seeing because the last one was actually the last two have been pretty good.
All right. Teen Titans Go to the Movies.
No.
And rounding out August, we have Christopher Robin, Mile 22, and The Spy Who Dumped Me. The Meg, Crazy Rich Asians, which is getting a lot of buzz.
But it looks really weird.
Oh, what about the Happy Time Murders, the R-rated film with the puppets?
Oh, I watched that trailer. God, my problem with that movie is it's.
What's your problem with that one?
It's good idea. It's a good idea for a movie.
Okay.
You know? But it just looks like it's another comedy, another Melissa McCarthy comedy that's going to try way too hard to be funny.
Kind of like Ghostbusters, you mean?
No, worse than Ghostbusters. I'm talking more about the lines of like what was the last movie she did? I really didn't like. Cook Off. Cook Off tried way too hard to be funny.
Okay.
So I think that movie's going to be really, really bad, and it's sad because it is a good concept and a good idea, but it's just going to be a try way too hard. Let's be really gross comedy, and I don't like those guys.
Okay. Do you think Slender Man is a good idea for a movie?
It might be. It could be a surprise hit horror film. You never know.
Okay. All right. I think that'll close this out for today.
Yeah,
once again, happy Memorial Day. Hope you're having a safe and happy Memorial Day. Thank you all for joining us for the double spoiler cast and today for our Memorial Day special. You can find us online. Jay, why don't you tell us where everyone can find us?
Yeah, you can find me. You can find us on YouTube. We actually have two channels. Jeff has a channel. I have a channel. We're on Facebook. I post the stuff on my Tumblr every now and again. So you can find us on all of those. So yeah, definitely check us out, like us, follow us, and tell friends and family all about us.
All right. And you can find my my reviews and interviews and other featured articles on formula1mania.com. And Jay, where can people find your reviews and articles?
On the Good Men Project in the Arts and Entertainment section.
Everyone, this is the Good Men This is Hollywood Purgatory, where the entertainment industry comes to get judged. I am sorry about that. Just all over the place today. So until next time, let's go Astros. Kiss the ring. World Series 2018, baby. Thank you. Have a good day.
Adios.